For UT coach Ray Trail from the Daily Times, Marcus Fitzsimmons, and Troy Provo Heron.
Hello, everybody, and greetings from the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. I'm Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, along with Donnie Moore and Marcus Fitzsimmons, and this is the Goatee Sports Page. Tennessee travels to Texas A&M for a key SEC matchup, and we're going to the whistle blows. And now let's set the lineup card, sponsored by Blunt Partnership, the University of Tennessee Sports Report, sponsored by the Cherokee Group, and the Murphy's Bobcat SEC Notebook lead off with Marcus Fitzsimmons and Donnie Moore. Today we'll look back at the week in Tennessee basketball and set the stage for today's game with Texas A&M. Carson Newman, assistant football coach Tony Iruli, will join our crew along with Troy Provo Heron. Donnie Moore will update us on high school scores and news from around the area, and then Mark It Down with Marcus Fitzsimmons, sponsored by Mandy B. Street Realty, features Maryville College basketball as Scott's head coach Raul Placeres will visit with Marcus. The Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week segment will be in the lineup as Marcus Fitzsimmons and Troy Provo Heron talk some William Blunt basketball. Donnie Moore returns to discuss headlines from around the sports world before the Boyd Sports Spotlight shines on SEC basketball as we will look at today's lineup of games. And finally, the Bowl Predictions segment closes out today's show as our panel makes their Super Bowl picks. And now it's time for the Cherokee Group UT Sports Report and the Murphy's Bobcat SEC Notebook featuring Marcus Fitzsimmons and Donnie Moore. Carson Newman, assistant football coach Tony Iruli, is back with us, and Troy Provo Heron is also here with us. Top of the morning to everybody. Troy, good to see you back and with us here this morning. And
yeah, last time I was here, you weren't here, so I haven't seen you in like 74 months or something like that. But I'm happy to see you, Mike.
All right. Well, we're glad you're back here, and Tony, you're back this week. You were on the recruiting trail
last Saturday. We had signing day this past Wednesday, so it was big not only to Carson Newman, but for all the local colleges and universities. I mean, it's a big day last Wednesday.
Yeah. So you were playing Lamborghini Delivery Man? Is that what you were?
Hyundai Delivery.
Hyundai? Okay, I forgot. Okay. Division 2, Division 1.
Yeah. Well, let's open up here with a little let her rip. There seems to be some uproar from fans following this Super Bowl that feel that Taylor Swift is taken away from the focus of the game. The uproar is fueled by the fact that Taylor is dating Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I couldn't name one of her songs. But if she is adding to the hype of the Super Bowl, I'm all for it. The more sideshows, the better that makes sports what it is, entertainment. Taylor seems to have come from a good home, and she has earned her celebrity status. She's faithful to her fans and has rewarded people who have worked hard for her. What's wrong with that? If Taylor is good for the Super Bowl and the NFL, and the Super Bowl is good for Taylor Swift and her popularity, it seems to me like a win-win situation. Let the game and the sideshows begin. What do you think, Tony?
Indeed. I agree with you, Mike. It doesn't bother me in the least.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying there's going to be a lot more people watching the game because of Taylor Swift. I could care less. I mean, Kelsey catch a 2-yard pass, so they'll zoom in on her. They're Super Bowl is so big that they're looking all the different avenues where you can get more people to watch the game, and if that means that you're bringing in, 2 million more viewers to come watch the Super Bowl, I mean, that's, good for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, welcome Swifties.
Welcome to the Swifties and all that. All my granddaughters are going to be watching it.
As long as they don't miss any action on the field, it doesn't bother me in the least.
Yeah.
Can they not hook up a mic up there and let her sing one song? I mean, just one song?
She'll be the I can guarantee you, Mike, she'll be the halftime performer next year.
Next year? Well.
That is a Troy guarantee right here.
Write it down.
That's locked in stone already.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Well, she's causing a lot of confusion. I saw on the news last night where there's some 49er fans. The adults, the parents, are rooting for the 49ers out in San Francisco, and their kids are wearing Kansas City Chiefs and Taylor shirts. Man, I'm telling you what, that's a house divided right there.
Big time.
And some of these kids aren't very old either.
Yeah, they could care less about the football game, but just as long as they can show a close-up of course, they'll be together for about 2 years. They'll break up, then she'll write a song about them.
Yeah. There'll be a
You know,
song.
every former boyfriend, she's got about 10 different songs about former boyfriends. So
That's really what you want to hear about love.
that's right. That's right.
I'm more interested.
Next one up.
As somebody who's a year away from getting married, that's what you want to hear about
one
love.
up.
I'm more interested in these parents who they're spending the money for their own jersey for the 49ers, but then they're spending $75 for the Taylor Swift T-shirt for their kid.
Yeah.
They're supporting the other team with that.
Wow.
That's an investment.
It is big time. And did you hear how much money the Super Bowl ads are running this year? I mean, $7 million for a 30-second ad.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons the Goatee Sports page didn't take their ad out.
Yeah.
No,
we could only fundraise $5 million. We couldn't get to the full.
we
We
were
were
just-
$2 million short.
We
So
were just a little short, and Brian tried to sell as many T-shirts as he could, but he just came up
Couldn't do
about a
it.
couple million
No.
short.
We offered to put Troy on the back of one of those Budweiser Clydesdale horses, but they weren't interested.
on top of one
we
of
even
the horses.
we even asked the network if we could do a 15-second ad. They wouldn't let us do it. So
we
tried
every way
Yeah.
possible. Just didn't quite happen.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk some Tennessee basketball. Last Saturday, the Tennessee Volunteers journeyed to Lexington, Kentucky, to take on the Kentucky Wildcats, and the Vols came away with a big 103-92 win. Tennessee needed a big win to offset the loss to South Carolina at home, and Rick Barnes' bunch took care of business up there. We talked about this last week, Marcus, you and Donnie and I, and we felt like Tennessee's chances were pretty good up there because Kentucky was struggling on the defensive end. We felt like if Tennessee could hold them down a little bit, that Tennessee had an excellent chance to win. And by golly, we talked about how bad Kentucky's defense was, Marcus, and they certainly didn't let us down one bit, did they?
No, they didn't. I mean, you would have thought Tennessee was in a scrimmage the way they started that game because they were hitting everything they put up, and they weren't really being contested all that hard in the first couple of minutes. And, you know, Kentucky got frustrated instead of defending, and it kind of snowballed on them. I mean, if you don't have a coach like they have, that got out of hand really quickly, but he was able to get them recentered and we let them wipe that out of their mind how they started the game.
Yeah.
What was good about the game was Connect didn't really have a big game. I mean, the other players really stepped up and played well.
No, and Troy, that was a big question mark going in after he's had several really good games here, 30-plus point games, that how would the team play if he had a subpar game? Well, we found out Ziegler had 26, James had 26, Vescovy had 11, and Adu had 11, so question answered, huh?
Yeah, I thought that was massive. Obviously, you know, Dalton is Dalton, and I think he's a massive part of their offense. He's probably option number 1, 2, and 3 for them offensively. But you really wanted to see Josiah Jordan-James be the guy that I think everybody knows he can be. He just hasn't been for most of his career. And obviously, like I think we talked about 2 weeks ago when I was here, like Santiago Vescovy hasn't been that guy. He hasn't been the same guy this year as he was before. And I think part of that is just how much spotlight's been on Dalton.
Oh, he's not getting any shots.
Well,
you got to have a few shots
to score some points.
To score some points, he's not getting any shots. So,
yeah,
you know, and he's fine with that. He seems to be fine with it.
Yeah, and I think in a lot of ways he's kind of been a decoy because even as a defense, even if he's not getting shots, like you can't leave him open. You know that's a mistake. So, and Zakai played well, and so I think to see guys who aren't Dalton Connect play well and show that hey they're capable of carrying this team if need be. That's massive for when you talk about when it actually matters, and that's a month from now when we're talking about SEC tournament, NCAA tournament. You're going to need more than one guy. You're going to need 3-4 guys that you know, hey, if they have the ball, they can hit a shot.
Yeah. Donnie, I'm always amazed at Rick Barnes, the way he coaches. Sometimes I think he's just living really right because he comes out and he sits down on the bench and he's got Dalton Connect and he's got a pretty good idea that he's going to get a pretty good game out of him. But he doesn't really know what he's going to get out of anybody else. Absolutely. He sits down and he goes, well, I don't know. I'll just kind of play it by ear and see how everything's going. And if James isn't playing well, I'll make a sub. And if Vescovy's not playing very good, I'll just make a substitution.
Sure.
We'll just play who's hot and who's not. I mean, what a way to coach that you can go out and sit down and really not have any idea. I guess that's what makes the game fun to Coach Barnes because he never knows, Tony, what he's going to get, huh?
Yeah, I mean like I said, these guys, they're playing so well as a team, and but when it's time for someone to step up, they seem to always find that guy right now.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was impressed that connect. I always scored about 17 points. But, other guys stepped up. We had 2 players shoot and score about 24, 25 points.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was good. And especially you're playing Kentucky at their place.
Right.
That's even better that you beat them at their place.
And Tennessee's been successful up there. But Marcus, as a former player, I can tell you a lot of time. Well, I don't think a lot of times, but, your season is defined here at Tennessee with how well, right or wrong, how well you do against Kentucky. Do you beat Kentucky? Do you split with Kentucky? If you sweep them, it's a great year.
Oh, yeah.
But that game just seems to mean so much more than any other game on the schedule. And to go up to Rupp Arena and beat them up there, that's a huge momentum getter for this basketball team.
And, I think Rick Barnes is probably the most successful Tennessee coach at Lexington in Rupp Arena. And I think that has a lot to do with his popularity and his fan support that he may have not had before, because that is the bar here. You beat Kentucky, you're going to be considered a good coach at Tennessee. It doesn't matter if you get past the Sweet 16 or Elite 8. That's kind of icing on the cake later on a month down the road. But if you keep consistently beating Kentucky, you're going to be the Tennessee coach as long as you want to be.
Well, I've got some stats on that, and I'm glad you brought it up. Rick Barnes is 7-1 against Kentucky when the Cats are ranked in the top 10 in the AP.
Wow.
He's 7-2 when both teams are ranked, and 4-1 when both teams are ranked in the top 10. He's 11-9 overall against Kentucky. He has 4 road wins against Kentucky in 9 seasons. And the program had 2 road wins against Kentucky in the last 36 seasons before Barnes arrived in Knoxville. How about that?
How about that? Oh, it's that.
And Tennessee now has 78 all-time victories over Kentucky, most of any SEC program. And I believe he's the first Tennessee team to score 100 points against Kentucky at Rupp Arena. So to say that he really likes going up there, I believe it.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's pretty impressive.
I mean, that is. I mean, and they just took – I mean, they led from start to finish in this ball game. Kentucky cut it down there in the second half to maybe 6 or so. I mean, somewhere in that ballpark. But to lead from the start to the end and dominate and take the fans out of the game like he took them out, Donnie. Those fans, I mean, you got 20-some thousand people up there, and they were just kind of non-existent.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that was a great plan, and it worked to perfection in my mind.
Yeah. And so
I think in the second half, I believe they, Tennessee scored like 57 points.
Well, the game
in the second half. I mean, that's
The Kentucky couldn't guard the 5 of us right
Troy,
now.
the game was just an old-fashioned
Not very good
shootout.
defensively.
It looked like a pro-style game.
Yeah.
Both teams going up and down, playing offense. I mean, it was a fun game to watch.
Yes, it was.
I think from a fan standpoint, guys, you'd like to watch a game like that all the time.
Right.
But you talk about Kentucky's defense, Tennessee gave up a lot of points too. And credit Kentucky, one thing they can do, they can score points.
Yeah.
They can score points. I don't know how far that's going to take them in tournament play without upping their defense some, but by golly, they're capable of scoring 100 points every time they go out there.
Yeah,
Huh?
and I think I'm not so sure that the Vols didn't fall into that trap of, hey, we know we can score every time down the court, so maybe we don't have to defend as hard as we normally do. Just because, like I said, I think you could pick 5 people up off the street right now, and they could probably score 50 points against Kentucky right now, as bad defensively as they are. And when you have Josiah shooting the ball as well as he was, Santiago shooting the ball as well as he was, obviously you have a guy like Dalton Connect, I think it's pretty easy for a team sometimes to look at that and say, hey, it almost felt like really from the early on, it really felt like we're going to score 100 points today, and maybe because of that we don't need to defend as hard as we normally would.
And I thought Kentucky hit some tough shots, and they had the guard out. They had one player I think that did not play in the basketball game. Don't know what a difference that would have made. Probably not too much on the defensive end, but I was really impressed with the fact that Tennessee did not play Marcus very well at all against South Carolina, and then came back to play as well as they did against Kentucky.
And what a dramatic change in styles between
Yes.
South Carolina's
Yes,
slowdown
absolutely.
to Kentucky's run up and
Great
down the
point.
court. And Tennessee's defense, Tennessee's defense maybe wasn't as on point, But like you said, Kentucky knocked down some really difficult shots. Little kid that came off the bench that kind of sparked them a little bit. I mean, he was knocking down some threes with a guy in his face and falling out of bounds. There's no way to stop that. And Kentucky's going to score some of those baskets no matter who's the guy who's on that night. So you know you're going to give up some points and you're going to have to put up some of your own. But the fact that Tennessee was able to do that, and what we talked about when they lost to South Carolina was when Connect kind of got boxed in a little bit, you couldn't just flip a switch and have Vescovy and James just immediately pick up the scoring load. But they were able to do that against Kentucky. Yeah. So I think it's a good sign, but I think there's a balance that Tennessee's negotiating about keeping Vescovy and James involved in the offense so they don't get lost, and so that they're there when you need them and they're involved, and they don't just disappear from you.
I'll tell you when I knew Kentucky was in trouble is when they couldn't guard out of bounds plays. I mean, they could not guard an out of bounds play. Yeah. I mean, the one thing you don't want to do is give up the lane there and the bucket, and they just they were pitiful, even on out of bounds plays. Tennessee, if you look at this race right now, Troy, is it a 4-team race? Are we looking at Auburn, Alabama, and South Carolina going down the stretch, and Kentucky right now with that loss? We've got 2 losses at home, pretty much out of it.
Yeah, I think it's a 4-team race, and I think Tennessee sits half a game back right now after clobbering the absolute heck out of LSU the other night, and yeah, I think it's a 4-team race, and I think you really like Tennessee's chances in that. I mean, obviously you're able to beat Alabama already. I think that they wish they could probably have that South Carolina game back and probably put themselves in a little bit better of a situation right now. And man, Auburn looks really good. So, if I was sitting here right now and I had to pick one, I'd say it's like if you're looking at 2 teams, I feel really good about either Tennessee or Auburn winning the title right now. But that's why you have to play the games, right?
Well, the last 2 weeks, I think, is going to decide it because Tennessee plays Auburn, Alabama, South Carolina, and Kentucky right there in the last 2 weeks of the season. So it's going to get real interesting. They got Auburn at home. They got Kentucky at home, but they got Alabama and they got South Carolina away from home. And South Carolina has played really well at home. They beat Kentucky there, and so that'll be a tough test.
And if you're Tennessee, you look at that and you say, well, we control our own destiny then. If we go ahead and take care of our business, then it's ours.
And you don't let somebody else slip up on you.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit worried about Texas A&M today. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But
what a streak South Carolina was on, beating, Tennessee, beating Georgia, all on the road, and that was very impressive.
I think South Carolina's the talk of the league right now.
Easily.
We talked about this last week and weeks prior to this, Troy, is that South Carolina's playing like Rick Barnes used to play. They're eating up the time clock. They're playing really good defense, and they give themselves a chance to win every basketball game.
Yeah,
so
play remarkably hard.
Yeah. I want to talk a few minutes about Dalton Connect because he's the talk of the town. He's the toast of Knoxville, or he's the toast of
the man.
He may be the toast of the nation. I don't know, but anyway, Donnie, I'll start with you. Best player in the SEC?
One of, if not the best. He's garnered Tennessee enough attention to where Tennessee is now a number 1 seed, projected number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. So, I wouldn't argue that point.
Troy, best in the SEC?
Yeah, I think I almost go to say without question. Like, I think what he's done for them is nothing short of remarkable. He's averaging 28 points a game or something like that in SEC play. So when you talk about when it's mattered most, he's been the best player in the league, giving them a chance to win every single game with how efficient he's been offensively, how dangerous he's been offensively. Realistically, I think you could sit here and say he's a top 2 or 3 player in the nation right now. Zach Edey gets a little bit of help because if you breathe on him, it's a foul. But,
Yeah, I agree. I think he's player of the year, but, he's extremely strong candidate to be the national player of the year. Mm-hmm. If he finishes up strong and has a couple of great games, how can you turn away from someone like that? I just think it's just a great story. Where'd he come from?
Northern Colorado.
Northern Colorado, and ends up here at Tennessee, and wham, bam, they're talking about National Player of the Year. I mean, what a transition that was.
Marcus, Player of the Year in the SEC.
Yeah, I can go with Player of the Year. I would put him as one of the three candidates, and probably the leading one at this point. I wouldn't say he's the best player in the league, but as a Player of the Year candidate, that's something different, and I would definitely put him in that. But just because what he has allowed Tennessee to do around him, and how he's kind of fit as the missing piece, I think they're all great storylines and selling points for him.
Yeah.
And to
I'll tell
continue
you what's
that.
been impressive about it to me is you got a guy like Rick Barnes that's coached all the years that he's coached and as successful that he has been in his profession, and he's completely changed Rick Barnes' style of play, Troy.
Yeah, I mean,
to me, that's a major development right there.
Yeah.
And he's got my vote at this point as Player of the Year.
Nothing short of a miracle
just
right
based
there.
on that.
I think we've talked about it, over the years. Rick has been so become so accustomed to, hey, let's play really good defense and hopefully the offense hits shots. And he's allowed them to, one, still be pretty good defensively, but also just have a guy that they had a little bit in Kennedy Chandler toward the end of his freshman season before he left, but a guy that you can just, we need a bucket, give him the ball and let him go get it. And I think that that's something that they have truly, genuinely missed in the last 4 or 5 years after Grant Williams left, that has kind of allowed them to be a team that we sit here right now, and I hate to get really excited about it because Tennessee seems to do this every year, where you sit here right now and you go, it's a team that can make a run to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, maybe even further.
Yeah, it's here on the table. Best player in the country, Tony? Best player in the country.
He's got my vote. I'm just saying, just the journey he's taken in the past year, from going northern Colorado to now, how many times has he scored over 30 points? How many times has he done this? And most players don't. And obviously, how he finishes up the season, SEC tournament play. I mean, I think he has some big-time games. He can seal it.
Yep.
I really do.
Troy, best in the country?
I don't know if he's the best player in the country. He's certainly a candidate for National Player of the Year, but I just think it's going to be impossible for anybody other than Zach Edey to win that award, given the way that they officiate Zach Edey. I mean, you would think that a guy who is 7 foot tall, 250 pounds, they'd make him work a little bit, and instead they've allowed him to be they've allowed him to be the softest dude on the planet. And so if you touch him, if you breathe on him, if you blink at him too hard.
Don't you wish Shaq had those rules when he played at LSU?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You could be hanging on his arm and he wasn't going to get a foul call.
I saw a video the other day where Zach Edey grabbed the Northwestern defender's arm and they called the foul on the Northwestern guy.
Really?
I mean, literally grabbed his arm. And they called the guy on Northwestern. I'm like, well, if you're going to do that, there's nothing we can do here.
I think it's going to be really hard to knock Zach Edey out of Player of the Year because of the fact that he does so many. He can change a game inside with his size, taking all of the touches away and the protection away. He's intimidating in there on defense as far as you taking the ball to the basket. He can score. Pretty good free throw shooter for the most part. He does so many things really well, and you're wondering, why Purdue doesn't do any better in the tournament than they do.
Sure.
Because last year I think they got beat the first or second game,
round.
second round I think of the tournament last year. So, but kudos to him. I mean, he came back. He didn't have to come back. So he came back, because of what happened last year, and they're going to try to make a run in the tournament. But anyway, quite an honor to be right up there in the mix in the talk as Player of the Year, isn't it? Sure.
Yeah. I mean, when was the last time Tennessee had that guy? I mean, Grant Williams for a little bit, and then before that, a very long time before that. So.
Now, Tennessee beat LSU the other night, another outstanding offensive game. Dalton Connect had 27. Jordan Gainey, another good game from him, 18 points. And another good offensive performance by Zakai Ziegler, 17, and Jonas Adu, 10. Another outstanding game. I do want to bring up, I'm not bringing it up, I don't want to be negative about this deal, but Tennessee, a lot of offense, Troy, this week, but both of those teams down to the bottom in defensive play in the SEC, LSU and Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to give them too much credit. But again, I I think we've seen games like this in the Rick Barnes era where you play a team that's maybe not as good defensively, and for whatever reason, Tennessee doesn't hit shots, and then you have to grind out a 60 to 58 win or something like that.
Right.
It was nice that you're not in that situation, that you get a team that's bad on defense, you take advantage of their weakness, and you score 80, 100 points, and you do what you need to do.
Yeah. Tony, coaching football is not much different than basketball. You win or lose a lot of times on turnovers.
Right.
Turnover rate.
Right.
You preach, just don't make mistakes. Rick Barnes, game in and game out, you look at the box scores, 7 turnovers, 8 turnovers, 6 turnovers. I'm going to tell you right now, if you beat Tennessee and Rick Barnes, you got to beat them.
You earned
Sure.
it.
They're not going to beat themselves, correct?
Yeah, and that's his style of coaching throughout his entire career, wherever he's been at. And and if you're a player that's going to be reckless with the ball and do stupid things, you're not going to be on the court at all. Yeah. And so he teaches, and the players going into the Tennessee system, they know the type of style he plays. And so taking care of the ball, playing great defense, if you want to play for Tennessee, those are the first few things that you've got to be able to perform.
Yeah. Donnie, in the LSU game, Tennessee was just kind of riding along there. 20 points, 17 points. And then we look up with about 3 minutes to go, and it's 8 points. It's single digits, and you're thinking, gosh, if we don't capitalize here, a couple of possessions, we could be down to a 2 or 3 point game. Any concern about I know maybe, or is it a concern that Tennessee goes into these valleys every once in a while, or is it, heck, all teams go into valleys during the game, or is it anything to be worried about?
I don't really think so, Mike. I think that's what Coach Barnes comes to expect, and that's things that all teams go through. Every team's going to make a run, and it just when it comes in the game is the thing that you got to be concerned about.
Yeah.
And then when that run is occurring, then how do you respond to it?
How do you respond?
Yeah, they're going to knock down
team.
2 or 3 3-pointers, make a couple of great plays, then all of a sudden now, okay, you stop it right there and let's get back to things and reestablish yourself.
Marcus, part of that run came in an area that Tennessee's been pretty strong in, and that's rebounding. They got out-rebounded this game 40-26.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody on the Tennessee staff was happy about that. Mm-hmm. But give LSU some credit. They don't do a lot well right now. They're still coming up off the mat, so to speak. So they're finding some things that they can do, and rebounding has been one of them. So they put a focus on that. But, it didn't affect Tennessee's efficiency at all. And I think you got to give Ziegler a shot out because if you've got 20-plus assists over 2 games and 40 points, your offense is doing something right if that's what your point guard's putting out.
I think what impresses me about this Tennessee team is they don't get rattled, Tony.
No, they don't.
They got down there, and LSU made that run and cut it within 8. They just went about their business like they're supposed to go about their business. Mm-hmm. They went down, they got a bucket, I think they got a 3-point play on the next possession, and then they just extended. And that's a mark of a good team, a veteran team, a team that's been around a while.
And a well-coached team.
Yeah, well-coached team.
Yeah, I mean, it's all those things you got to check off, going into the game and, how you're going to perform in the game.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's a Rick Barnes team, and everything that Tennessee has been experiencing this year just kind of follows the suit of the type of coaches he does.
Troy, I'm going to follow up with this, then we got to get out of here. But if you look at LSU's stats after the game, it sort of looks like the stats of every losing team that Tennessee beats. They shot 6 for 25 from 3-point range for 24%.
Not good.
14 to 22 at the free throw line, and they turned it over 16 times. But you look at those teams that Tennessee beat, those turnovers on those other teams are 16, 17, 18 turnovers. They're turning those people over, and they're capitalizing on those turnovers.
And they make you make mistakes, and I think they do a really good job of not getting beat at the 3-point line, making you dribble, making you make that extra pass, the inside-out stuff. And that's kind of where you're allowed to generate those turnovers because you can jump those passing lanes and kind of do all that stuff that kind of causes some chaos. I just think that obviously I think Tennessee and Coach Barnes, they're playing a really good brand of basketball right now, and you kind of hope that it keeps going for the foreseeable future.
Yep. Hey, we'll take a timeout here. When we return, Donnie Moore will provide high school scores and sports news from around the area, and veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons joins us with his feature, Mark It Down. You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, Blount County's sports voice, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
It's payday, and on payday, you want to have access to your money right away. When you enroll for direct deposit at Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union, your money comes to you with no waiting. It's the fastest and most secure way to get paid. Getting set up is easy. All you need is your account number and our routing number. Find out more at tvacreditunion.com.
Join us now.
Federally insured by NCUA. Some restrictions apply. Ask for details.
Since 1925, Anderson Lumber in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. But did you know Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store? You can stop in anytime and see our incredible kitchen showroom. From floors to cabinets and everything in between, Anderson Lumber's experts can help you design your dream kitchen. And then our install team will make it a reality. For anything home, we welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber, since 1925.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com. Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093.
We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply.
Welcome back to the Goatees Sports Page. Donnie Moore, this is the last weekend of high school basketball before the new season starts, the tournaments, right?
That's right. The second season is upon us.
Well, we had
That's
some
true.
rival games last night, huh?
We did, yeah. And then we had some that were not such rivalries. You know, we had one biggie.
And we've got Troy here right now, and we can't miss without talking about, I'm sure you're going to talk about it in a second, but congratulations, Troy, on the William Blount girls last night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Coming
appreciate
away
it.
with a win.
Yeah,
Big
remarkably
win.
proud of those
Big
girls.
win for the Lady Govs
Yeah,
last night.
they-
We'll talk about that in just a moment.
As soon as Troy shows up, it just changes the whole dynamic.
It
of the
does.
entire-
He's a front runner.
He is by far a difference maker.
Whole dynamic of our show
God.
anyway.
I'd love to
doesn't
be at the front right now, I'll tell you that much.
Well-
Got a long way to go to get there.
it? Let's get started with our Mandy B. Street Realty local scoreboard. It's a full segment this time, so we got a lot to talk about. High school basketball action last night. Eagleton at Austin East.
District game.
District game, that's right. No post from the girls, so we'll tell you about the boys' action. Austin East rattled the Royals last night, 72-38. So that was not a happy evening for the Royals, traveling over to Knoxville. Greenback hosted Harriman last night, and the Blue Devils came away with a double win over there at Greenback last night, 52-38 in girls action and 75-47 versus the Cherokees in the nightcap. Heritage hosted Seymour last night in in action over at the prettiest place in the mountains.
So it was happy. It was a happy homecoming night at Heritage.
It was, yeah. So 54-38 with the win for the Lady Mountaineers, and in boys action, Heritage got a win last night, 75-44. Congratulations to the Mountaineers basketball program last night. In the biggie last night, Maryville versus Alcoa. Maryville, after locking up a district championship, right?
Number 1 seed.
Yep,
regular season championship.
Regular season championship. Maryville plastered Alcoa last night in girls action. Well, it wasn't such a plastering, but they won anyway, 55-49. But in boys action, you could call it a drubbing, 80-54.
And let's say that's where we're going. We're talking about the boys being the number 1 seed.
Yeah, right. The boys number 1
because we went
seed.
into that girl score, but
80-54. Good grief. That was a great night for Maryville High School boys basketball.
it was a good night for Maryville,
and I don't know.
You know, this game got sandwiched in between 2 big region games for Alcoa.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say they were looking other places, but they've got some really big contests coming up really, really quickly that are going to matter more to them seeding-wise than playing Maryville.
That's true. Yeah, but you know, you always get up for that Maryville versus Alcoa.
You should. Yep. You should.
Yeah. But anyway, Maryville 80, Alcoa 54 last night in boys basketball. Maryville Christian School hosted the Knox Ambassadors last night in girls action. Didn't get a post from the boys game, so I don't know whether it even existed.
It can vary greatly with the Ambassadors. So
it does. But the girls, Maryville Christian School beat the Knox Ambassadors last night, 77-63. Pretty good offensive game last night.
And their girls teams they've had some good wins this year. They really have.
Congrats to the MCS girls last night. 77-63 winners over Knox Ambassadors. One other game last night, saved it. Troy, congrats last night. 59-47 winners. WB Lady Govs defeat Walker Valley last night.
On senior night.
Yeah, on senior night.
Really,
where's Walker Valley?
That's somewhere. I don't know. It's a far way away. I know that.
It's in a valley.
Yeah.
Far away. It is in a valley, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just
Walker.
Yeah.
I'm just remarkably proud of our girls last
walk.
night. Really happy for Chloe to get a win on senior night.
Yes.
But for anybody who watched that one, it was a war. I don't know if you'll find a tougher team in the state than Walker Valley. I mean, they were running through us in screens and backhand slapping us and all that type of stuff. And I think our girls needed that. We haven't been remarkably tough all season, and January was a really tough month for us. And to see them kind of fight, preserve a second-half lead that we haven't done so great this year, I'm kind of hoping it's a turning point and at the perfect time for district tournament next week.
Did a little growing up last night, didn't they?
Yeah, so I'm really proud of them.
Good.
And I heard the coaching was just absolutely outstanding throughout the entire season.
Good enough.
Great.
Good enough to get a win.
Good enough to get a win. That's great. And in the boys game last night, the Govs were victorious 85-65 over Walker Valley. So a 20-point win right there for the Govs. And they needed that one.
Yeah.
And we'll visit with them a little bit later about that one.
Yeah, we will. We'll talk about that one too. After that, this big game versus next game syndrome didn't apply.
No, it did not.
That's good. We'll talk about that a little bit later too. National letters of intent this week. Blake Heckman from Maryville High School signed with Liberty University to play football. Congratulations to Blake Heckman. Yeah, that's a pretty good program up there at Liberty.
Yeah, it's a good match both ways on that.
Yeah, we got a couple from Maryville up there, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dominic Stevens from Heritage High School signed with Independence, Kansas Community College to play football. That's a 2-year school, so he'll get a good dose of football.
I have actually been in Independence.
Have you really?
Independence. I was offered a defense coordinator position coming out of when I was coaching in Missouri, and it's a town of about 2,000, and they really have a lot of good barbecue there.
Good, Tony.
That's about the only thing that had to go.
That's great. And we're glad to know that.
I envisioned me and Carol being in Independence, Kansas, and I said, no, I better go back east.
Good for you, Tony. Congratulations to Eli Elkins, also from Maryville High School, signed with Tennessee State University to play football.
He's a good ball player.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah,
outstanding.
he is. We also want to wish the best of luck to the Maryville High School cheer squad, and a shout out to them down in Orlando, Florida this weekend, participating in the National High School Cheerleading Competition. Go get them, girls.
Good luck to Maryville, and I think Seymour was there. I think maybe it was their dance team that was there last weekend.
Last
came
week?
away. They got bumped up a division from the small school to the middle division, and I think they came away with 7th place nationally.
Good.
So it was a really good trip for them.
Congratulations.
Christy Ward McCoy is their coach.
Good. Thanks for that, Marcus. Well, the TSSAA announced the finalists for this season's Mr. Basketball Award winners on Thursday of this week, and 2 Blount County players made the cut for their respective classifications. In Class 2A, Alcoa's Javin Carter made the list for the 2nd consecutive year. A Penn State signee, Carter is the Tornadoes' all-time leading scorer. A Class 4A finalist, Caden Wendell of William Blount High School, is the Gov's all-time leader in scoring and rebounding with more than 2,000 points in his prep career to date. Wendell and Carter were named as 2023 Daily Times Boys Co-Players of the Year. The winners of the Miss and Mr. Basketball Awards will be announced on March 12th at 6 p.m. at the Murphy Center on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro. Congratulations to those guys.
Congratulations to them. And let me just kick in. This one is very odd. I can't recall this happening from East Tennessee District before. But in 2A, all 3 finalists are from the same district.
Yes, they are.
You've got Alcoa, Austin East, and GP.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm sure that's probably happened with the Memphis district at some point in the past.
It may have,
but I cannot recall it from the district in East Tennessee.
Not
ever
East
happening,
Tennessee District, no, absolutely.
where you
I
had
don't
all
think
3
that's
finalists
ever
from
happened.
one.
Yeah.
And that's great too. That's
It's as
great.
talented a district as there is in this
Congratulations
state
to those guys.
between those 3 guys.
Yep. Well, that is all for our Mandy B Street Realty local scoreboard, and I am going to lob it to our veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons for his feature, Mark It Down, after I tell you that you're listening to WKCE 92.5 FM and 1180 AM Mid-Century Radio. Marcus?
Well, thanks, Donnie.
You're welcome.
And we are blessed today.
Yes, we are.
We have
Indeed.
special guests.
Blessed.
Maryville College men's coach, Raul Placeres, is here with us. And, it's a rare Saturday where he is not getting ready for a game because
Indeed it
they've
is.
got the way the schedule fell. And, Coach, a number 1 seed in hand for the 4th straight year. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I'm really proud of our guys. We've done a good job this year so far.
Talk a little bit. This team, you challenged them in this preseason, and it seems like it's paid off now that we're into February.
Yeah, I think the last 3 years we've taken the approach of playing the best anywhere at any time, and I think it's really helped our program, playing the best around the country. Now it's made us travel a lot. In Division III, you're taking buses, so you're talking about 7, 8, 9-hour drives, but it definitely helps you to get ready for conference play. And obviously that's been the case with we were 42-8 in conference play in the last 4 years, with 4 consecutive regular season titles. So it's really helped us come January, February, which that's when you need to be playing your best basketball. And that's kind of how we've challenged the guys, right? Each month you have to be better, and we're there now. February has to be an undefeated month if you want to accomplish your greatest goal, and that's what we're trying to accomplish here in this month.
So how will it break with CCCS? How does it work as far as the conference tournament goes?
We'll get a first round bye. We'll get a first round bye, so we get to watch everybody play on 2 weeks from today on a Tuesday. 2 plays 7, 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5, and then the final 4 is at our place. And it bodes well for us because we don't have to travel and we can stay home and have an opportunity to cut the nets down again for a 2nd consecutive year in this new conference that we established last year. And so we're definitely looking forward to that. But as a coach, you well know we still got one conference game left Tuesday, and we got one last home game that got rescheduled with all the snow delays and all that this next Saturday as well at home. So trying to get more wins than last year on Tuesday, more wins in conference play Tuesday, and then get that 20-win plateau on Saturday, which is extremely tough to do. In our program, we've had over 130 years of basketball, and we've only had 21 seasons, and we're trying to have our second 21 season in the last 3 years. So a lot to play for still.
And that's harder to do when you're not playing 34, 40 games
you're
regular season.
Yeah, you're playing 25 games a year. That means you're winning 80% of your games. That's really hard to do, and especially with the type of schedule that we have tried to put together in the last 3 years. So, yeah, extremely proud of the guys, extremely proud of where we're at as a program right now, and hopefully we can continue to build on that.
And program-wise, that schedule, you kind of have to do that because the conference can't get you automatically into the tournament anymore.
Just this is finally the last year of that, the frustration and the heartache of having to go through that. Last year we had the fourth strongest strength of schedule in the country. We won our last 10 games. We won the regular season and conference tournament championship. And we didn't get to the NCAA tournament while playing 9 NCAA tournament teams, winning 4 of those, beating a Sweet 16 team. So, if we were playing Division I basketball, there's no doubt that we would be in the NCAA tournament, but Division III does it a little bit different, and it's a little bit more difficult. And so we've tried. All we could control, and I've always said this, I'm on those committees, I can only control wins and losses and non-conference schedule. We do that to the best of our ability. Where we lay at the end of the year, that's what we'll be. And, hopefully we'll make it a tough decision for them, but we got to win out and be 22-5 at the end of the year to give us a chance to hopefully get in that large bid.
So talk a little bit about the guys on this team, because you've gotten some new pieces. You got some pieces that were here last year, and it seems like you're getting them from a lot of different places. It's not like just one guy.
Yeah, again, I keep saying I'm really proud, right? But I am. We graduated an All-American who's playing professionally in Poland and is doing extremely well. We graduated another player who's playing professionally in Portugal. We graduated 4 guys who were extremely successful for us last year. Coming into this year, we got 1 senior. That senior has won 4 consecutive regular season championships. He's just a winner. But we've added some pieces, guys coming back. We added a Division II transfer from Missouri Western, who may, if he does what he's supposed to Tuesday, he should be the player of the year in our league. He's averaging about 26 points a game here in the last 5-6 games, and he's doing, he's shooting 50, 40, 90, which is extremely hard to do. But Reed Kemp is his name. He's from Franklin High School, local product from Middle Tennessee. But Jackson Garner from Clinton High School, Chase Morgan from Concord Christian, Jalen Green from Knoxville Webb. The reason I'm saying this is we're doing it with a lot of local guys, and I think that's always really important for a small college institution to do it with the local guys. But really proud of a lot of guys. Our 6th man, who has a chance to be 6th man of the year. It's kind of a trick because I don't start him because he's coming off the bench, but he comes in like 2 minutes right after the game starts. So he's averaging 16 and 8 in conference play. We're very well balanced. You got 5 guys averaging double figures. We're averaging close to 85, 86 points a game, 90 points per game in league play, and just doing a lot of good things right now this time of the year. And we've incorporated a zone this year that in Division I, II, and III, it's number 2 in points per possession in the country. It's a funky 2-1-2 zone, and it's been really good for us. And, so, man, we're just really proud of everything that we're doing, and obviously extremely proud of the guys, because at the end of the day, those are the guys who are getting the wins done for us. So,
and you mentioned it, that the funkiness. Is that who dreamed this up? Where did there was an inspiration for this somewhere?
The zone, it's funny because there's a team in our league that plays this funky zone, and I just felt like we could play it and do it a little bit better than them. So this summer, I just said, let's look into it. And the reason I did it, it's in our league. This is what makes our league so hard. We're the only league in the country in Division III that plays back-to-back games in conference play. Nobody else does that. Everybody else does Fridays, Sundays, which you understand because you need rest for the following game. And so I thought it was always really hard to beat them on that next night because you don't have that much time to prepare. And as a coach, as you guys well know, you're always looking at that first game. You're not trying to prepare for the Saturday game. You're preparing for the Friday game. And so I said, if we put this in play early on, it'll no longer be something that we kind of get stunned by on that second day. And, we're doing, we beat them both times this year and in convincingly fashion. I think it's helped us. I'm a big believer in, it's really tough when about 6-7 minutes to go in the game, people start getting tight and you have those 8 to 12 point leads. You go that funky zone and all of a sudden that 12 point lead balloons to about 18 or 20, and by then, the game is basically over. So it's been very beneficial for us in our program to use that to our advantage this year.
So you mentioned the bus ride. So these guys, I'm assuming your bus has got wireless. These guys are doing their work as they're traveling to, the Gulf Coast, basically, for some of these conference games. Is Coach in charge at that point? Are you also the academic advisor?
Well, it's Division III, Marcus. You well know we wear many hats. And, we're coach, academic advisor, recruiter, hotel planner, meal planner, dad. You name it, we do it. Really proud of our guys. 14 of our 18 guys on our roster, 3.4 GPA or higher. I'm not doing the work. They're doing the work, because if I'm doing the work, I would hurt that statistic. But they do. They have all the access to it. There's no excuses. We got a great academic support team at school that we truly use, and that's another feat another accolade that I'm really proud of as a coach. Every year that I've been the head coach, our GPA as a team has gotten better. So I think culture is really important, and I think there's a direct correlation between academic success in the classroom and on-the-court performance, and we're going to continue to preach that and push that within our program.
So, court-wise, you're kind of in that you guys wear the target.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that. So, you're getting everybody's best shot, and how do you keep these guys on point? Because, like you mentioned, you've got a makeup game, you've got a conference game with the number 1 seed locked up. You got to keep. It's hard to keep a team on focus when they've already got something wrapped up.
Yeah, I think we have this assumption sometimes when things are going well that things get easier, and that's not the case. Things just get harder, but you're able to handle harder better because you've gone through these moments together. And that's what I preach to our guys constantly is every game is a new opportunity to do something better. And we're keeping that mindset. And right now, rest is really important. Because we got to finish strong in these next 2 weeks. So I've given them a couple, we've got a day off today. I kind of gave them a day off on Wednesday. So they're pretty happy with me right now. And sometimes as a coach, that's all you need in order to finish strong. But, it's just the culture that was established by Coach Lambert for so many years. And, obviously we've taken here in the last 5 years, hopefully to even a better step in regards to our culture is just – really working hard and working together and having great competitive drive in everything that we do. So we'll continue to do that with this team.
And you mentioned you brought Randy up, so I'm going to pin you down on him. Given the situation where you've got a guy, a former Maryville College player who's coaching over at the high school, and the unique situation with his dad as an assistant, have you ventured over to see how that dynamic is working out on the court?
Yeah, God bless Wes Lambert for having to deal with that. I think it's beautiful. I think to be able to do that with your dad, I think, they're creating some lifelong memories that they'll never, and I know Wes will definitely treasure. Coaches, it's good. And it's good that Coach is in that seat now because he can see it from a different angle. And I think he's been great for Wes. He's allowed Wes to grow by himself. Coach has done a really good job of that, not just with Wes, but with me too. Some coaches it's hard to let go, and Coach has done a really good job of stepping back, letting me do my thing my way, but he's also doing that with his son. And I like it. Maryville High School district champs, Maryville College conference champs. The local town is succeeding and doing great at a high level. And I'm really proud of Wes. I coached Wes. I watched Wes grow up. Wes used to come to my games when I played in college. So that tells me that I am getting really old too now. And really happy.
The thing about Coach Lambert, he did a great job preparing you for this opportunity.
Yeah,
I mean, he just didn't throw you right into it. I mean, he took you from step one all the way to the point where now it's time for him to pass the torch over to you, and you were ready for it.
Yeah, the great thing about coaching is, and especially when you know you're going to be the coach in waiting, that person allows you to be yourself. We do things totally different.
Sure.
Now, we do something the same. We're consistently winning, and that's important. But Coach did a really good job of allowing me to be myself. And basically, we were 2 head coaches on one staff, and we did that for many years together. And I'm eternally grateful for that opportunity and the way that he went about it.
You're exactly right, him stepping away from his son. I watched that game against William Blount the other night, and they called timeout right at the end of the game. Crucial timeout, crucial play to set up. And Randy was walking around like he was in a daze. He wasn't even near that huddle.
Well,
I just assumed that. Just assumed that he felt like, I got you all the way up here this far. You're on your own now.
I don't know about all that. He may be in a daze because he is in a daze. Wes is the captain of that ship, and he's along for the ride. Yeah. And I think that's what people need to understand. Wes is doing a really good job, and he did a really good job with this team with a very young group that he has. And so, I'm just happy to see it. And I've been able to watch a couple of games.
Now, Randy was an assistant last when they were doing 6-on-6, right? Is that?
Yeah, or 3-on-2 and 1-half-4.
But you do have that, and you mentioned having the guys in the area. It's still hard. You got to keep a pulse on all these teams that are around here because there's so much talent. We were talking about it earlier, just in this area, which hasn't always been the case. But in the last 15, 20 years, you've got a lot of local talent available.
NCAA rules prohibit me from speaking on a specific players, but you got 2 coming up here soon on your own show, and that we are recruiting. And again, they're really good players. And that's the brand of basketball at our level. They've been able to come and watch us play. You make big time where you're at. We got some high caliber players at our level playing some high caliber teams, and we're going to continue to try to recruit the local talent that's here in the foreseeable future.
Well, man, we appreciate you coming in and visiting with us this morning. It's been great to see you. It feels like it's been too long. We've got some time coming up. After you all get done with your business in the postseason, you can come back and visit with us again.
Absolutely, and appreciate you guys always having me on. Sir.
Don't get out of here yet. I got a question for you. In this day and age, now you can look at Division III or you can look at Division I. I don't care.
Okay.
But what does a program value more in this day and age? A regular season championship, a tournament championship, which all divisions have that now, a high seed in the NCAA tournament, or a deep run in the tournament?
Man, still all 4 obviously totally
you can't
different.
Answer all 4.
All right, I'll tell you this. I think a regular season championship is more difficult, so I value the regular season championship because it's the body of work that you've put together for an entire season.
Yep.
So,
very good.
All right. Well, Mike, we'll turn the page then.
All right. Time to turn the page, and when we return, the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week segment will be up. You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
The Bluetick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza. Made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The Bluetick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the Bluetick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville. The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times.
For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensonTire.net. Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland. Excellence in service.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards along with the rest of our broadcast crew. And now it's time for the Goatee Sports Page Player of the Week segment featuring Marcus Fitzsimmons and Troy Provo Heron. This segment is sponsored by Anderson Lumber Company, where quality service is always a priority, proudly serving Blount County for over 75 years. Marcus, you got William Blount basketball. You and Troy got William Blount basketball in here this morning.
Yeah.
And, that's the team that's got the veins of the old ice water. Got to have the ice water in the veins, boy.
Yeah, there may have been a clip or from a play earlier this week that has made the round. I'm not sure if I've seen it or remember what it looked like. Seems like maybe the athletic director could have promoted it or something. Right. Or at least talked about it at some point on social media. So shame on him for not getting that out there.
Our athletic director talks on social media?
I don't know.
Maybe I've seen it.
But anyway, we've got the William Blount boys in this morning. And Coach Wendell, happy to see you this morning. First off, you brought 2 guys with you. And for those who may not know and may not have recognized their faces from earlier Facebook appearances, who are these guys and what did they bring for you?
Well, we have Caden Wendell, senior, my son, and Grady Robertson, senior, who both have been together since 4th grade, and I've had a hand in their development since 4th grade, and they have made me look really good as a coach.
I'll tell you what they bring. They bring him a lot of points is what they bring.
2 all-time leading scorers in William Blount history.
2 all-time leading scorers in William Blount history. And,
absolutely.
Top 2, first and third rebounder and second and third in assist. I mean, the stats go on, and it's just unbelievable what these 2 can put in the record books.
You got to feel good about the last couple of games and how this team is playing. And, there's been some dips, and I think some people had really high expectations, but we were talking about it earlier. This is the new season. It all starts with what you can do right now. So how do you feel about these guys after the last couple of games?
Oh, I'm very confident. And every season has ebbs and flows, ups and downs, and we went through a little stretch where we weren't playing extremely well, offensively or defensively. But the kids came together and they started to, sometimes adversity can forge you. It can be an asset if you want it to be and use it correctly. And they came together as a team, and it's player-led. They've done it. And so the motto has became, assume nothing and prove everything. So that's what we're trying to do.
And we gotta bring it out on it, Caden. You got almost no time left Tuesday against Bearden, and I'm sure Coach drew this up to work just that way. But what went through your mind when you put that ball in the air?
If you notice, I caught it a little, off balance and kind of bobbled it, but I was able to still set my feet and get it off in time. And I think it felt good, honestly, whenever I shot it.
Was there going back and looking? Were you concerned about going over and back because you were right on that half-court line?
Yeah.
And it looked like maybe you were struggling to keep your feet in the right place and not get a whistle there.
Yeah, a lot of people said that the next day, but I really didn't even notice it in the time. I was just more focused on catching the ball. But no, I didn't notice that.
And that's a shot you practice all the time, right?
Yes.
It is. Okay, good. I'm glad Coach has you putting those efforts into those.
Yes.
More importantly, it was a dramatic shot. It tied the game. It didn't win it for you guys. You still had to win this game in overtime. And Grady, I'll put you y'all see him put it in, but you still got to win this thing. How do you kind of come back down from that big shot to go back to work?
Well, I mean, it gives us momentum to go into that overtime, you know. Once Caden hit that shot, we all knew coming into the huddle, we're like, we're going to win this game. You saw Bearden's faces there just like, dang, like, how did he hit that? But, you know, it just gave us the momentum. We just got to dig deep, and we played defense and played together on offense and came out with a big win.
Those faces were looking at each other saying, you know, we should have fouled right there and put them on the line. There would only been 1 second or less, and they would have needed the 3 right there, and 2 free throws isn't going to do it.
That's right.
But hindsight's better than foresight, right, Coach?
Exactly.
Coach, that is one thing that, and we've talked about during this week, is, you know, when you and I were playing ball, in that situation, you might put somebody on the ball, but you came back across. You don't pick up a foul in the backcourt, so all your defenders were on the other side. And the idea that now you're actually thinking, okay, what do we have to do if they try to foul us to put us on the free throw line so we can't hit a three-pointer? I mean, the whole philosophy of what you do in that kind of situation with 2 seconds to go is changed from what it was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, coaching philosophies change all the time, but the stats show that the best option is to foul right there but by the stats. Some people still don't believe it, and that's fine. And I think it's a game situation type thing, and who you're fouling and all that. But we tried to get the ball into Nick and have him pass it really quick, and because we thought they were trying to converge, and thankfully we were able to complete the pass, and it went the way it should have went.
And that was what you drew up on the chalkboard?
Somewhat.
Okay. I think
as far as you know.
We'll go with that.
We're going to say that.
Unless somebody took a picture, there's no evidence to say otherwise.
Like I said, these guys make me look really good.
And I'll go back to them. Last night, senior night, some great photos coming out of that. I was looking at some of them last night that the Daily Times put up. How does that kind of play into the game? Does it kind of impact, because it's been a really eventful 2 years at this point, the last 2 seasons. Any emotions last night with going out there and kind of getting those awards, getting those plaques?
Yeah, I think the whole team was we had a little bit of juice that we hadn't had all season last night to start the game, and Walker Valley's a really good team, so the fact that we got up on them like that, I think that shows a lot.
And any drain from that, like kind of recentering, because you got to put those plaques somewhere, the flowers have got to be put back away and all of that?
I mean, no, not really. We're just getting the energy from that game, just, you know, bringing it to the tournament. You know, that's all our focus right now is on the tournament, game by game. Just what's the next step? And that win, you know, it's going to give us a lot of momentum. So.
Coach, how's the tournament kind of shape up? We know it's here at Maryville, but where are you seating-wise, and when did you go to open up? We
were tied for 4th. The Hardin Valley had the tiebreaker by the number, and so we're 5th, but it doesn't matter. We'll play. We were in the 4-5 game regardless. We'll play Wednesday at 6. We win that game, and we'll get to play Maryville for a rematch 7:30 on Friday.
And you win that game, you got a regional spot, right?
That's right. We win that game, win the region, guaranteed 3 more games, and and I've said all year long, anyone from our district can win the region. I mean, anyone, even Farragut, who is, by the record, you're looking at, man, they only got 7 wins and 20 losses, and they're 1 and whatever, and they're as good as any team in our league. And so I believe they could make some noise too. But I would definitely put our team against anyone's. And
Caden, there was some other news this week that came out. You may have seen it. There was something from TSSAA, a Mr. Basketball finalist. Did you feel good when that news reached you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited and thankful to everybody who's voted or whatever, and just grateful that I'm in that opportunity. But just kind of more focused on just winning the tournament right now.
And we get that because it's not about the individual stuff so much, but it's such a convoluted structure, let's say, into how those awards come out. It's kind of rewarding for the program as well, because you don't see many players that get up there when their teams are not doing well. So it's kind of speaks to the team around you as well that the program's had success to get you up there.
Yeah, definitely does.
I've got to tell a story about when I told him.
Oh, do share.
So this is classic Caden right here. So I find out, and I put my wife on FaceTime, and I'm like, hey, let's tell him together on FaceTime. So I get him in the office, and we're on the office, and we tell him, and she's cheering and stuff, and he goes, cool. And I was like, that's it? And he starts to walk out, and I'm like, where are you going? He goes, I'm going to go shoot. That's it. So, I mean, he's very humble, but he's team first and focused and driven. He'll celebrate this later after the season. Right now, I think everyone knows that we're hungry for more. So, individual awards are great, but we want that team championship.
And we understand that, too. Coach, what's been the turning point to you mentioned earlier there's some ebb and flow, but it feels like this team maybe 10 days, 2 weeks ago kind of hit a corner and hit an upswing. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to manufacture one of those, but was there a turning point or something that happened with the players or that kind of got that swing going?
I do. I go back to it's player-led. I mean, the players started leading each other better and communicating better and feeling the urgency of the situation, where a few games prior to that we were kind of just going through the motions a little bit. But the players have stepped up and they've done it, and they've bought into what's expected, the standard, and it's all player-led. I wish I could say it was something coaching-wise. It's not. It's the players are awesome, and I'm just fortunate to coach them.
Greatest senior class, your junior year did not end the way you wanted it to. And it's going to be a play that will probably still be debated when you look like any of these old guys over here. Is that playing the motivation for this postseason as to what you all want to do and how far you want to get?
Oh, for sure. I mean, even coming up through middle school, we've had something like that happen each year. We've gotten to that point, and just something little just happens. So, each time is just motivation, just stacking on each other. One of these years is going to change, and we're hoping this is the year.
When you've got a senior class like this, it seems like this would be the chance for it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That you've got a lot of cards stacked with you.
Yeah.
Does it kind of feel that way because you've got 8?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
8 guys that you all been playing together for a while.
Yeah. Well, like I said, all those things we've been through it all. So it's nothing new to us. We're not going to be impacted by anything that happens. We're just going to battle through it and just keep our head down and go win game by game.
Coach, I'm going to put you a spot look ahead. You've got to worry about this postseason. We know that. Mm-hmm. In the back of your mind, you're like, I got 8 plots to fill for next year. I've got a lot to holes to fill.
Yeah.
But that when you've got a good program running, you're constantly bringing guys in. You kind of manage to get between JV and the spots where you have leads to get some of these other guys.
Yeah, I mean,
ready?
Obviously, these shoes will be hard to fill, but there's guys hungry to take that spot, and they're ready. And we've got a great young bunch coming up. Our freshmen and sophomores are really good. We got Seth Breeding as a junior, who's going to be a very talented player for us next year. And the incoming freshmen, and I'm even looking all the way down to the 7th grade. I mean, they got some really good talent in 7th grade too. So if you build it right, build it with a strong foundation in the youth, good things happen.
Marcus, the Lady Govs like to think that we're helping Kevin next year because we don't have a JV team, so they've acquired all of our JV games this year. So all those kids have gotten a whole bunch of experience this year.
That's right, and we thank you very much for that.
Well, maybe you can send them some practice players as well. Somebody to work with them.
That would work. That would work.
Well, this award is not nearly as big as the one you're a finalist for, Caden, but the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week award for that game-tying three-pointer, that's all yours. So congratulations for that, and congratulations to the Governors for getting that win and gutting that one out in overtime and heading into the tournament with an upswing. So we wish you guys the best of luck, and we always say you can win your way back on the show. So
that's right.
Best of luck for this postseason. Win your way back onto the show, and we'll be happy to talk to you again.
We'll do our best.
Sure.
Thank you.
Well, I think that's it, Mike. Let's go ahead and turn
Marcus,
the page.
Time for a break, and when we return, it's the Boyd Sports Spotlight as Goatee Sports Page veteran Donnie Moore will have the sports headlines, and then our crew will talk some SEC basketball. You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
Since 1925, Anderson Lumber in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. But did you know Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store? You can stop in anytime and see our incredible kitchen showroom. From floors to cabinets and everything in between, Anderson Lumber's experts can help you design your dream kitchen. And then our install team will make it a reality. For anything home, we welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber, since 1925.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply.
Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093.
It's payday, and on payday, you want to have access to your money right away. When you enroll for direct deposit at Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union, your money comes to you with no waiting. It's the fastest and most secure way to get paid. Getting set up is easy. All you need is your account number and our routing number. Find out more at tvacreditunion.com.
Join us now.
Federally insured by NCUA. Some restrictions apply. Ask for details.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, and it's time for the Boyd Sports Spotlight. Donnie Moore, it's Super Bowl Sunday coming up.
Wow, it sure is.
Yeah. We've seen a few of them. I've seen all of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen every one of them.
We've been around long
You
enough,
and me
haven't
both,
we?
yeah.
Don,
There's a 1, 2, 3.
Let me toss in one going into headlines.
Go ahead.
We left out
Go
the
ahead,
prep
Marcus.
headlines. If you are by chance heading to the wrestling regionals today,
Yes.
there was a move made this week. Maryville and William Blount will be at Knox West today wrestling. They are not at Powell.
Okay.
That tournament got moved midweek, and we tried to get the word out, but I'm not sure it circulated all the way around. But wrestling regionals, not duels, individual tournament that are going on, and Heritage is hosting the Class A today with Alcoa and Sessi over there as well, Greenback.
Okay. So there's been a shift.
There was a shift in location because of some facility issues.
All right.
So Maryville's headed to Knox West today for wrestling.
Thank you for that update. Well, let's get into our sports headlines of the week, brought to you by Fast Signs.
Do that again.
Now you only get one.
You only get one.
Okay.
Only get one at the opening and one at the closing. So
I got you.
You'll get it. You'll hear it again. Well, Lamar Jackson has won the NFL's 2023 Most Valuable Player Award, the second time he has captured the league's top honor in his 6 seasons. Jackson, at 27 years old, is the youngest quarterback to win the award twice, passing Brett Favre for the honor. He is only the 11th player to win multiple NFL MVP awards, and only 6 have more than he does. They are John Unitas with 3, Jim Brown with 3, Favre with 3, Tom Brady with 3. Aaron Rodgers with 4. And Peyton Manning with 5. Jackson completed 62.7% of his passes for 3,678 yards and 24 touchdowns, a 102.7 passer rating in the 2023 season. He rushed for 821 yards and 5 touchdowns and a league-leading 5.5 yards per carry. His 753 win percentage is third best for a quarterback in NFL history, only bettered by Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. Pretty good, huh? Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes has told his teammates that he wants them to focus their attention while in Las Vegas strictly on the business at hand, rather than spending time on the famous Vegas Strip, partying and enjoying the nightlife. He said, quote, "I told the guys that if we win, I'll bring everyone back to Vegas to celebrate."
Woo. Why wouldn't they just stay over? Why do they have to come back?
I don't know.
Huh?
He's going to fly them all back to Vegas to celebrate if they win. Does that mean the whole trip is on number 15? I'd say he can afford it. Mahomes has a 10-year contract with the Chiefs worth up to $503 million.
Well, if he flies them, if they win, they fly back. That'll interfere with the trip to Disneyland, won't it?
It would. You have to be after
well, that'll just be on the way to Disneyland.
I hear Taylor Swift has a plane.
Disney to Vegas.
Yeah. Corey Kluber, a 2-time Cy Young Award winner for Cleveland, who pitched a no-hitter for the Yankees in 2021, has announced his retirement. In fact, he announced it just yesterday after 13 seasons in the majors. The 37-year-old righty was 3-6 with a 7.04 ERA in 9 starts and 6 appearances in relief for the Red Sox last year. He became a free agent when Boston declined an $11 million option. I'd say it's time, wouldn't you, Troy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Had a good career.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. The Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2024 was announced this week. The 5 modern-day candidates are Julius Peppers, Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, Patrick Willis, and Dwight Freeney. Some pretty good athletes in there. The 2 seniors candidates are Randy Gradishar and Steve McMichael.
Those are 2 good ball players there.
Yeah. Well, the Dartmouth men's basketball team will meet on March 5 to vote in an election to decide if the players will unionize, a step that would be unprecedented in American college sports. The election will take place on the school's Hanover, New Hampshire campus, per the National Labor Relations Board. The NCAA has long maintained that the players are student athletes.
Not anymore.
But the National Labor Relations Board regional director in Boston ruled on Monday this week that the players are effectively employees of the school, which cleared the way for the union election. The 15 members of the team had previously signed a petition asking to be represented by the Service Employees International Union, Local 560, which represents other members of the Dartmouth staff.
What a mess.
Isn't that a can of worms?
What a mess. You got players unionizing. You got NIL going on. You got the transfer portal going on.
Take out the word.
Total chaos.
Take out the word student athletes. They are not student athletes anymore.
The NCAA insists that that's what they are.
They aren't student athletes.
But in this case,
going to college is going to be an option.
I said this last week. I'm going to say it again. The NCAA saying that they're student athletes and administrators at school saying they're student athletes.
Yeah.
They're saying that to make themselves feel good, and that's all they're saying it for. These guys are professional athletes.
That's a politically
if you're
correct,
paying them, they're professionals.
They are no different than the plumbers that work there, no different than the landscapers.
But they are. They are because the school is not paying them. The school is not the one paying them. The collective is the one who pays them.
Yeah,
but that's what they're wanting to be. They're wanting to be union members.
This is a totally different argument than what's going on from the UT perspective or the Virginia perspective, however you want to say it. This is very different because this is where players are asking to be directly paid by the school and be a union as service workers of the school, which I think is a worse deal for them because when that happens, it doesn't matter how much they earn; they're all going to get the same. Yeah. Is that what you really want? If all 10, is that how are you going to recruit with that formula against an SEC formula where you get to drive a Lamborghini?
Yeah, right. That's
well, the money's coming from two different sources. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it is.
It is, and we all understand. We all understand the fiction
school.
that's involved with the collective, but it is coming from. It is not coming from the state of Tennessee as an employee to the school.
Yeah,
well,
I don't.
It's
I don't
all
know.
going to one place, and that one place is the player. So wherever it comes from, that's where it's ending up.
Yeah, you're right. Well, we'll see how it goes. On this day in sports, February 10th, 1961, the AFL's LA Chargers moved to San Diego. Now they've since moved back, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they're still San Diego Chargers.
Are they? They're still. No, they're not in San
Diego.
Diego.
No, LA Chargers.
They moved back to LA now.
Remember?
They got a new stadium, SoFi Stadium now, don't they? 1968. American two-time world champion Peggy Fleming easily wins Olympic figure skating gold at Grenoble in France, the Winter Games. She didn't have any trouble at all winning that one, did she?
No.
She was a great skater.
Great skater.
Boy, Peggy Fleming.
She announced.
Yeah, what a great skater.
Yeah.
1969 on this day, February 10th, LSU's Pistol Pete Maravich scores 66. His team loses to Tulane 101-94. Remember that, Mike?
Yeah. He put up a lot of big numbers, but he didn't play on very many winning basketball teams.
No.
And it helps when your dad's coaching.
It does.
Your dad's coaching, you get a lot of shots.
Get a lot of shots, get a lot of playing time. That helps.
Yeah. 1971 on this day.
Good.
Yeah, he was a great player. I'm going to take that away from him.
No
great
kidding.
player.
1971 on this day, Bill White becomes the first African-American baseball announcer for the New York Yankees. Bill White.
Yeah.
Well, he's a good ball player, too.
Yeah, St. Louis Cardinals first baseman one.
Yeah. So.
1992 on this day, speed skater Bonnie Blair wins the 92 Olympics' first gold medal for the USA.
I remember that.
Bonnie Blair.
Yeah,
that's a memorable name. 1996, the IBM computer Deep Blue becomes the first computer to win a chess game against a reigning human chess champion, Garry Kasparov.
I think they had that on Wide World of Sports.
They did.
They did on ABC.
Yeah, Wide World of Sports.
You remember that, Troy? Never mind.
Nope.
1997. O.J. Simpson jury reaches the decision on $25 million against O.J. in punitive damages. Wonder if he had that much.
Yeah.
No, because remember that's why he had to
steal all of his stuff back.
like auction off his Heisman Trophy and all of that.
Yeah, that's right. He did. Yeah.
And then tried to steal it back from the guys who bought it.
Mm-hmm. Birthdays on this day, February 10th, 1950. Mark Spitz, remember that name? Swimmer, won then record 7 Olympic golds in swimming, 1972 Olympics. Born in Modesto, California. That's not a record anymore, though.
Yeah, he was big time. He
was. 1955, Greg Norman, born on this day, Australian golfer. Won the British Open in 1986 and 1993. Born in Mount Isa, Queensland, Australia.
Okay.
1963, you'll know this name, Lenny Dykstra. Major League center fielder for the Mets and the Phillies. born in Santa Ana, California.
Couldn't get enough tobacco in that jaw, could he?
He looked like a chipmunk, didn't
Yeah.
Tobacco and alcohol in that draw. Yeah.
Born in 1964 on this day, Sam Grady, U.S. 4x100 sprinter, won Olympic gold in 1984, born in Gaffney, South Carolina. And in 1982, born on this day, another Olympic sprinter, American sprinter, and Evolve for Life, Justin Gatlin. Won Olympic gold, and he's a 100 meters, 2004, born in Brooklyn, New York. His time in the 100 meters he won 9.74.
Wow.
Man, you talk about flying. That is 5th on the all-time 100 meters list. Still stands as 5th on the list.
If I recall, when he won the gold, he wasn't a favorite. I mean, he
came out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere and did that. Yeah.
And 9.74. Can you believe that is literally flying?
It is.
9.74. Well, that's all for this week's Sports Headlines, brought to you by Fast Signs.
There you go.
Now let's bring the Boyd Sports Spotlight into sharp focus. Back to you, Gunner.
Hey, it's time to bring back in our sports page crew: Donnie Moore, Marcus Fitzsimmons, Carson Newman, assistant football coach Tony Iruli, and Troy Provo-Heron. Troy, why I got you here, the Lady Vols last week, mixed bag.
Oh, here we go.
They beat Missouri 80-69. They lost to Alabama 72-56. They play Arkansas Monday at 7 o'clock on the SEC Network.
Yep.
They're now in third place in the SEC at 7-3 and 14-8 overall. And they've got upcoming games, and I'm going to tell you right now, listen to this. They've got 2 with South Carolina. South Carolina,
7-5.
number 1 in the country.
Yep.
They've got LSU at home.
7-6.
They got to go to Vanderbilt and play. LSU's number 13 in the country. They got to go to Vanderbilt and play, and then they got a home game with Texas A&M. Troy, that's a tough deal right there to end up, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds like your best case scenario is 2-3 to close up, and then you finish 9-7 in the league. And but let's be honest here. Like, you're going to lose those 2 games to South Carolina. You're most likely going to lose that game to LSU.
Yep.
Kelly is going to be defined by what she does in the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament. If she gets early exits in both of those, it's over.
You think there's any danger if they don't do? They got let's say they fold right here at the end. 14-8 is not very impressive overall right now, and this is not the only 2 teams in this league that's ranked is LSU and South Carolina. It's not a very good.
It's not as good as it's been.
Not a very good league.
Not top to bottom.
And say you have an early out in the tournament, are they in danger of not making the NCAA tournament for the first time in history or not?
I've always said if Tennessee's a bubble team, just with the way women's college basketball is, if Tennessee's a bubble team, they're going to get in for the money aspect of it, for all that stuff.
Yeah. Right.
But I think if you have an early exit in the SEC tournament, you have an early exit in the NCAA tournament, I think Tennessee's looking for a new basketball coach next year.
Well, while I've got you here, this has been on my mind too.
Okay.
Caitlin Clark, Donnie mentioned there a week or so ago that she's in line to break the scoring record. It's going to happen. Fine player there at Iowa. And she is going to break the women's scoring record, and that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Now, we had a situation where the coaching record was broke by, is it Vanderveer?
Yeah.
Vanderveer out at Stanford there a few weeks ago.
Vanderveer.
And she was she broke they made a big deal of her breaking Mike Krzyzewski's record.
Right.
And then now we got Gino Ariema, who's now 3rd on that list behind coaches. My question is, how's come the scoring records are separated for players but not coaches in women's sports?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say that I don't know if there's a right answer to this question, Mike, but I would say that if you're coaching basketball, you're coaching basketball. Like, you're recruiting the same as a man or a woman coach does. You're drawing up plays just like a man or a woman coach does in the men's and women's game. And, like, I don't you're making me say something I don't want to say.
No, it's a really tough question.
Yeah, you're going to make me say something. I think coaching men's and women's basketball isn't all that different from one another. if we're being honest, you're drawing up plays, you're running a zone, you're running a man, you're running the same thing. When you're talking about on the court play, there's visible differences in the way that both games are played.
Well, the courts are the same size and the goals are the same height.
No, the difference is a player is only going to play men's basketball or women's basketball. A coach can coach both. A coach could have wins coaching women and wins coaching men.
Okay, fair enough.
I just think coaching basketball is coaching basketball, and I think that is in a lot of ways genderless. And I think that there are differences in the way that the men's and women's game are played that's not really comparable to one another.
Okay.
Kalen Clark can't dunk.
Not yet.
Okay.
Shaq can dunk. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like it's different.
Well, there are records that are. This record is different anyway.
Yeah.
She is approaching the NCAA record.
Yeah.
There's
an asterisk.
There's a couple of records that are beyond her anyway.
Right.
There's a college record, and then there's a women's record.
Yeah.
That are beyond that.
Because before most people don't remember, before the NCAA recognized women's basketball, it was what, AU something or other?
AIAW, something like that.
Yeah, so those records don't necessarily translate to NCAA scoring record.
Back then they had a girl scoring 3,000 points in her career.
But they said that Caitlin Clark, when she gets that record,
but you also
beyond the NCAA record.
There'll be an asterisk. Is that what you said?
Close enough.
Yeah.
You're a football
There's
coach.
not really
It's
an NCAA scoring record, but it's not it's not necessarily the college
other
scoring
women's
record.
In the AIAW.
Well, it just seems to me like
there are women who scored more points than that than the NCAA
I don't
record.
care about that record.
6 on 6,
yeah.
I don't care about that record.
I'm going to watch women's basketball at Maryville College. It was 3 on 3, 6 on 6, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry I brought that up, but
way to go. Good job.
It's been on my mind.
It's
been on my mind.
Here's the thing: is I don't see you for like half a year, and then you come in here and you just decide to take and you just take a shot at me for no reason.
Welcome back.
And I know that. And look, I know I haven't been the kindest person to you on this show all the time, but I don't see you for 6 months, and you just wallop me in the back of the head with a baseball bat.
I thought you might just come out and just say, well, it'd been a lot easier if they would just
we call that an ambush?
Keep the women's records over here and the men's records over here and just leave it at that.
I smell a Notre Dame reference.
I will say this.
Troy.
I don't like any of those coaching records because the fact of the matter is Pat would have won a billion more games had she not gotten sick.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Okay, go on to the next Troy question.
No, I'm done with Troy on that.
Ahead.
I'm leaving. I want to go to you, Tony. I want to try to get to some SEC basketball schedule today. But how'd your signing day up at Carson Newman go?
Well, we signed 42 players. Several from Tennessee, Georgia. We hit Florida pretty good, and so we had a nice kind of ceremony Wednesday evening where we had Coach Ingram talked about all of our players. We had alumni there and Booster Club there, so it was a nice event. So we feel very positive of the direction of where we're going right now. We'll start doing some early morning workouts next 3 weeks, and we'll have the second week in March. We'll start our spring football. So excited about doing that. The option is back.
Very good.
The option is back.
Yeah. Good. I'm excited to hear that.
I can tell. You look real bubbly.
Well, I just want I feel like. Like we talked about last time I was here, I feel like me and you are in a very similar boat. We're trying to rebuild some things here, and I want our successes to be built together.
That's right. You and me.
Yeah.
We're both Florida guys.
We're in this together.
We're both Florida guys. Yeah, I got your back.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go.
Troy, do you have to give him a ring now or something? Is that?
Well, we got to win a ring first.
Okay.
Hey, Tennessee is at Texas A&M today, 8 o'clock tonight on ESPN. Tennessee ranked number 6th in the country, and they're going for a number 1, trying to maintain the number 2 or number 1 seed for the NCAA tournament.
Latest is they're number 1 in the West, or a 1 seed in the West region.
Lenardi basically, anytime Arizona wins a game, he puts them as the 1 seed. Anytime Tennessee wins a game, he puts them in the 1 seed. He seems really confused at the moment. So.
Yeah. Marcus, I'm a little bit concerned about, as far as this week goes, I'm a little bit concerned about this game at Texas A&M today because Texas A&M matches up with Tennessee pretty well.
They do.
And when people match up with Tennessee pretty well, they have a little bit more difficulty. I think Texas A&M is a well-coached basketball team, and I know that's going to be a tough crowd down there in College Station today for this game.
Yeah, they have a good scoring leader. I think he's putting up about 20 points a game. I don't get as concerned about A&M simply because it's Barnes. And if anybody knows Texas A&M, it's Rick Barnes. He's got wins from 3 different programs. He's beaten Texas A&M, and he's got more wins over Texas A&M than any coach. I think he's beaten them like 30 times in his career. So he knows Texas A&M. He knows what they're doing. It's not a guarantee, but I feel like he's going to have – this is always going to be a personal game for Coach Barnes, and I feel like he's always going to have Tennessee ready for this one. Last year, I think, was a blip when they did win. I think they won up here last year, but that's the only win they have over Tennessee. Oh. So I feel pretty good about it. I think it's more a matter of what they can do to slow Tennessee and then what Tennessee can do against Wade Taylor as far as slowing him down.
Yeah. Well, Texas A&M comes in at 14-8 and 5-4 in the league, so they're right there in the middle. You've got several teams there: Kentucky, Florida, Texas A&M. Right there in that middle section. That within another week or two, they could be looking up, up in the top 4 there. There's so much parity in the SEC. But looking at today's schedule in those top 4 teams, South Carolina, Auburn, Alabama, and Tennessee, you would like to think that South Carolina, at number 15th in the country, has got the easiest go today with Vanderbilt at home, Troy. And that game's at 1 o'clock on the SEC.
Yeah, you would feel really good about that. Yeah. Vanderbilt stinks.
Yeah, they're really reeling right now.
Well, Stackhouse is starting to look for a G League job somewhere, and Vanderbilt can start it all over.
The only advantage that they've got is, when you play that milking the clock deal, you shorten the game, and sometimes you have a tendency to keep somebody in the game.
But the milking the clock deal only really works. It's really only hurts you against teams that can put the ball in the bucket. Vanderbilt doesn't do that.
Yeah,
so
if
they score 17 points, you're going to feel pretty good about it.
Big time trouble from 3-point range. They're really struggling.
Couldn't throw it in the ocean if they were standing on the beach.
Yeah, they're one of the mysteries of the league. After coming off a pretty good year last year, they've just gone into the tank. I would say them and Arkansas have been really, and Missouri. Missouri had a pretty good year last year. Arkansas had a pretty good year, and they've all been disappointed.
Well, Missouri lost all their good players from last year, so that one wasn't so surprising. Yeah. Arkansas, boy, that don't make no sense.
Yeah. Marcus,
the most talented team.
Number 16 Alabama, who got beat up pretty well at Auburn this week, is at LSU today, and at the 12 o'clock game on ESPN. Alabama, seems like it doesn't matter a lot of times who they're playing on the road. They tend to get down. I mean, they were down 14 or 15 points last week, I think, at Georgia. And then they came back and won the game. So what do you think?
If I'm Alabama, I'm a little bit concerned with this one. LSU, despite how they played against Tennessee, they have a lot of talent. It's just that program hasn't made that step forward yet, but it's looking to take those steps forward. And home teams are doing really well in the SEC this year. So
78% win percentage.
I would be a little concerned going in there, especially the way you got beat up against Auburn.
Yeah.
Because Auburn took it to them. Auburn was out to win that game, and it showed.
They really did.
And Alabama's given up 75-plus in 5 of their last 6. They're kind of getting the Kentucky defensive lapse thing going on right now.
Yeah.
They might want to guard up.
I'll tell you, the team at number 12 Auburn, I'm not a big Bruce Pearl fan, but I'm telling you right now, they're a pretty good basketball team, Tony. Number 12 Auburn, they're down at Florida today, and Florida at times can play pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Florida can play very well at home.
But I just think a Bruce Pearl team, has a matter of getting them up on the road, and with Florida right in there, they're going to respect Florida at 5-4 and 15-7. I look for Auburn to come out today and play a pretty good basketball game down there.
Yeah, again, they're always going to be well coached. But I'm thinking that if there's going to be maybe a little bit of an upset, it could be there.
Yeah.
I mean, because Florida has played well at times. They got a good team. Just inexperienced at certain playing positions. And if there's going to be an upset, I think it could be at Florida right there.
It's also a week that some teams can see some light. Poor old Georgia, they get up on people. They can't close a game.
No.
They can't close. They were ahead of Tennessee 12 points with 5 minutes to go, got beat. And same way with Alabama, they were up on them. And then and Georgia is at Arkansas today. And what can you say about the Razorbacks? So I know those two teams are really looking forward to playing each other today. And then you got Mississippi State and Missouri, playing each other. And Mississippi State, I look for them to come out of that game. But and then Gonzaga and Troy, this is not the same Gonzaga as the teams that we've seen in the past, is it? They're at Kentucky today, number 17 Kentucky.
No, very much a different Gonzaga team. They don't seem to be that dominant, shoo them in as the number one. I mean, I don't even know if they're going to win the West Coast this year.
Kind of strange to have a non-conference game this late in the year.
It really is. Yeah. It really is. Well, they had it in the past when we had the Big 12 and the SEC challenge.
Right.
Usually took place
February?
about this time.
Okay.
Yeah, it took place about this time.
It took place in January.
Yeah. And they don't have that anymore. So anyway, it's time to go to I guess Donnie. We're ready for the bowl prediction segment, huh?
Yep, we are.
All right, we'll take a break here, and when we return, it's the bowl prediction segment. You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee, New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland, excellence in service. For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at StevensonTire.net.
Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times.
The Bluetick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza, made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The Bluetick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the Bluetick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville. The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
The Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, and it's time for this week's Bold Prediction segment. I'm here with our Goatee Sports Page crew, Donnie Moore, Marcus Fitzsimmons, Tony Iruli, and Troy Provo Heron. So let's get to it. Last week, Gosh, I'm going to have to brag on myself a little bit, Donnie. I hate to do that here this morning.
I can tell. I can tell it's really
I don't
bothering
know.
you right now.
I don't know if this has ever happened. Last week, I was 5-0. 5, so that means I'm going to be. So that sets me up for an 0-5 this week. Yeah. Donnie was 3-2, and Marcus was 2-3, and you were out.
That's right.
So that's an 0-5 for you, Tony.
That was a bye.
Yeah. Hey, let's start with the Super Bowl, Tony, and we'll just work around here. Kansas City and San Francisco. Who you like?
I'm pulling for the 49ers. I'm an anti-Swifty.
Okay.
All right, Niners.
Okay, Troy.
At this point in his illustrious career, I think betting against Patrick Mahomes is asinine, crazy, and insane. So I am going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I would agree with you. Mahomes has the ball last series of the game.
Yeah,
I may have to flip on that one.
Yeah. Marcus?
I'm going with the blue team in the Puppy Bowl. No, if I've got to choose, I will go with the 49ers.
There's always one. There's always one.
Well, it's the 20th Puppy Bowl,
Yeah,
and let's give a shout out. That raises money for a good cause, so I'll give it a shout out. But I will take the 49ers.
Okay. Donnie?
Go on, Donnie.
Not going to get me to flip.
Go on, Donnie.
I picked against the Chiefs last week, and I won't do it again.
We tried to get you to go that way. No,
when you bet against 15 in red,
yeah,
that's a problem. And they have a good defense, too.
Yeah. I'm taking Kansas City. I am not betting against. When you got Patrick Mahomes and you got Taylor Swift sitting up there, that doesn't leave the 49ers with anything.
It almost kind
nothing.
It almost
absolutely nothing.
You got a Swifty shirt? I'll make sure you get one.
Hey, look, if you're somebody who believes in the fact that sports are just rigged and scripted, if the Chiefs win tomorrow, I mean, it almost feels like this was written from week 5 on.
Yeah. And what's the name of the quarterback at San Francisco? What's
Brock
his last?
Purdy.
Brock Purdy.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's not going to be Purdy tomorrow. Is that what you're thinking, Troy? It's not going to be Purdy.
I think it's going to be close. I got the Chiefs 24-20.
That's right.
Okay.
Every starting quarterback in college football makes more than him right now.
Okay. All right. Hey, I'm going to start with you, Troy. Auburn at Florida.
Auburn.
Marcus.
I like Florida. I like the home team's winning percentages this season.
Tell you what, Marcus, he likes those underdogs.
He loves those underdogs.
I'm telling you right now, give me somebody that's broke any day of the week. Huh? Donnie?
Pearl.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe Marcus said that.
I've got Auburn. What about you? You taking the big Gators?
Florida. All right, Marcus.
I can't believe Marcus said that. Gators.
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 Yes.
Right.
There. Yeah.
Tennessee at Texas A&M, Marcus. I'm with you first.
Oh, is this one straight up, or we have a line?
We're just straight up.
Straight up on it. Vols. Tennessee wins this.
Right. Tennessee's only a 1.5-point favorite.
Is that all?
Yeah. Really? I'm worried about this game. Donnie?
I am too. But I'm taking the Vols.
You?
I've been Tennessee. How many? I think about 3 or 4 weeks here.
You have.
I mean, Lady Vols.
You've been a diehard Vols fan.
I don't like.
Which is new for you.
I don't like this game at all. I don't like it, but I'm gonna go with the Vols.
He's sticking to it.
I'm sticking to it. They've been good to me.
They have.
Go ahead.
Is that A&M?
Texas A&M.
What does that matter?
What's A&M?
And you got that coach down there that looks
A&M
like
is 14-8 right now. They got the same record as the Lady Vols.
And listen, you got that coach down there that looks like Curly of the Three Stooges. Oh, Curly, going to be on the sideline. Curly Joe. Huh? What do you think?
I'll go Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah, okay.
It's a sweep.
Mike's worried about this one.
Troy, you going with Curly?
I ain't worried about this one. I got the Vols by double digits. I got Dalton going 30+. I ain't worried about no dang A&M.
Vols by 50.
I ain't worried about no dang A&M.
Oh, my God.
In a blowout, in a rout.
Wow.
Make those kids go home crying.
He comes in here for the first time in 6 weeks and takes a bunch of drugs before he comes in here. What can you say about that?
The only thing I can say is that we all going to have to take some drugs after this.
Oh, I've got the sports page this morning. Give me my double medication.
Dalton's got
double medication.
Dalton's got 30 tonight, and the Vols rout them.
All right. Gonzaga at Kentucky. Marcus?
Oh, is that starting with me too? Okay.
Again.
I'm going to say Kentucky. Gonzaga's not what they are without Timmy.
Donnie?
I'm going to take the Cats as well.
Okay, I'll take Kentucky because they can score.
Yes, they can score.
They can score.
What kind of record does Gonzaga got?
They're 17-6.
17-6.
I'm going with the Catholics. Gonzaga.
They're
You're
Catholic?
going with the Zags?
Yeah, that's a Catholic school.
Okay, Tony.
You know what, Tony?
Yeah, I'm going with it.
That's one of the first.
Thank you, guys.
That's one of the first smart things I've ever heard you say. I'm also going with the Zags. Like I said, Kentucky couldn't guard the five of us sitting at this table.
Yes.
Gonzaga's 28th in the nation in offensive efficiency right now. Kentucky's 102nd in defensive efficiency. The Zags pour it on.
Do it. The two Catholic boys say yes.
The Zags are going to score 80 plus and win today.
Kentucky may score 105.
That's fine.
But do you know what? Kentucky is coming off of a big win at Vanderbilt. You know, they played in that.
The five of us could beat Vanderbilt.
They're coming off a big win there in Nashville.
Okay.
I don't know. Kentucky's they're strange. They're having trouble. They're not only having trouble on the road, they're having trouble at home.
I know.
They figure it out tonight.
Go Zags.
They figure it out tonight. Yeah. We know what cures some struggles? A team not guarding you. That's what cures some struggles.
Okay, Donnie, I'm going with you. Okay. Indiana is at Purdue, and they're the Big Ten rivalry game. Indiana.
Why are you putting this on here?
Indiana is at
Nobody's picking Indiana, Mike.
I'm taking Edie.
Okay.
You have to pick Indiana. If you put this on here, if you put this on the docket, then you have to pick Indiana.
If they feed Edie, he's going to.
Purdue is an 18-point favorite.
18-point favorite.
Come on, go Indy. You going Indy?
No, I don't want to go Indy.
Sure.
But Troy's saying since I got the game
on there. You got the game on here. You have to pick them.
Okay, you giving me 18 points? If I pick Indiana, would you give me the 18?
I'll give you 15.
Okay, you give me 15 points. Now, you all hear that. I'm going to take Indiana and the 15. I'm not going to take them straight up now.
No.
He shamed me.
I'm going Purdue.
Okay. Tony's that got Purdue. And Troy?
I'm picking Purdue.
And the 16.
Why is this game on here?
And there's my boy Marcus down there.
Marcus,
he loves underdog.
Purdue.
He'll take Indiana straight up. That boy down there will.
No. Purdue.
Indiana's going to get 30 fouls called on just for looking at Edie when he walks through the tunnel.
Y'all just missed this, but the girl on game day has hit the half-court shot for her tuition.
Oh, wow. That's good.
So anything's possible,
Congrats.
but not that one. It's Purdue.
Not that one.
Yeah.
Indiana's got a long night ahead of them today.
Tony and Troy.
I'll be honest with you, Mike. I don't even feel good about that 15 right there.
We're going Zags.
Hey, Tony, good to see you again.
It's always great being
Troy,
here.
great to see you.
Good to see you too, bud.
Now, are you going to come back again, or is it going to be another 8 weeks?
I'll be back next week. Unless we're playing for a district championship, then I'll be here next week.
We are rolling.
We'll bring in the William Blunt Pep Band or something.
So the T-shirt saw a shadow, so we've got 8 more weeks of Troy.
All right. Great. All right. That'll do it for today's edition of the Goatee Sports Page. Thanks to Aaron Ishmael back at Loud Media, our host, the Bluetick Tavern, and all our sponsors. For Donnie Moore, Marcus Fitzsimmons, Troy Provo Aaron, and Tony Iruli. Until next Saturday, this is Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, wishing everyone good sports.
And that's the final whistle. Join us again next Saturday for the Goatee Sports Page.